What is up, guys? Welcome to the video. I hope everybody's day is going great. Mine is, and today we have a pretty fun video. We're going to be talking about the finals. We have Philadelphia Fusion going up against the London Spitfire. The maps are out, so we will be taking a look at those and seeing which team has an advantage and where it is at. Obviously, though, up until this point, this has meant really nothing, because when the maps were drawn, the Philadelphia Fusion and the London Spitfire were the worst performing teams on all of these maps in the regular season. I mean, seriously, by far. We had teams like New York Excelsior 10-0 on Kings Row. They lost on it in the postseason. We had the LA Gladiators 9-1 on Lijiang Tower. They lost it in the playoffs. We saw the Boston Uprising 10-0-1 on Volskaya. They lost it. The thing about those matches is, though, we were going based off of the regular season. So now with the London Spitfire and the Philadelphia Fusion, we can base their records so far in this playoffs. And I definitely think that will give us a good idea on who is going to perform where. So we're going to be doing that for the most part of this video. Before, though, we do want to talk about little pieces of news because there are some things to talk about over the past couple days that I haven't mentioned. And lastly, if you guys are new around here and you enjoy my content, be sure to hit that red subscribe box. I upload content every single day, very similar to this. Also, drop a like if you enjoy it. And now let's go ahead and hop into the video. Also, just to let you guys know, so I do have my flight to New York tomorrow. Obviously, this is not going to affect my channel. We're still going to be uploading daily, but I am going to be staying in New York with my teammate, my friend Motorius, for 2 weeks. So we're not only going to the Overwatch League, I'm also just going to be hanging out and staying with him for a couple weeks. I'll still be doing the daily videos, but we're also probably going to do some IRL content. We'll have some vlogs definitely from the Overwatch League that I'll upload. And I want to ask you guys, let me know down below in the comments what you want to see from us, like IRL content wise at the Overwatch League. Like, what excites you? What do you think would be interesting that we could do? I'm really honestly open to anything. I've done IRL cosplays before as Tracer, so if you guys like really want to see something down below in the comments, be sure to upvote it, say what you want to see, and maybe we can make it happen. Like, you know, I want to make some entertaining videos that maybe don't have to do with the Overwatch League, because obviously once the Overwatch League is done, it will be very hard to make these Overwatch League videos every single day. I'm going to try. I will commit as much as I can, but it's going to be tough. Alright, boys, sorry about that extended intro there. Obviously, I had to say those things, and I can't wait to get to New York and maybe even meet some of you guys. But to start off with the little pieces of news, let's go straight to KAISER. So KAISER posted this on Twitter. I am currently LFT Overwatch League Season 2/Contenders main tank player, very good at English and likes memes, second place in Apex Season 2, retweets appreciated. Now, if you guys don't know who KAISER is, you haven't been around the scene for a very long time, he's pretty much an OG player. He competed for Runaway before Korean Contenders in a league called Apex. His team once got second place. They lost to Lunatic High, who was pretty much the most dominant team in Korea at the time. And to be fair to KAISER, he had like the most insane performance throughout the playoffs in that specific tournament. I remember a crazy earth shatter on Eichenwald against LW Blue to end their winning streak. And then yeah, they went on to the finals and lost to Lunatic High. He just really was insane at Reinhardt during that time. Then he got picked up by Cloud9. So there was like this sad thing that happened between him and Runaway where like he didn't want to leave, but he said he had to because he needed the money so he could support his family and stuff, which, you know, I really do respect that. And yeah, he joined Cloud9. They competed in North America. I wouldn't say they were the best team. They were a pretty good NA team at certain times. Like, they were inconsistent. They did win a tournament where they beat like LG Evil, they beat Selfless, they beat my team. So like at a time they were like top 2 North America, top 3, which was really good because at that time there was a lot of competition in North America. That was when we saw the rise of Yikes. We saw LG Evil, Selfless, Envious wasn't there, but then there was like my team, Kangarna. Immortals was absolutely tearing it up. Renegades was hitting a really big high at the time, so like the competition was pretty much at the peak in North America. But as I did say, you know, they had consistency and performance issues. Every time they got to like a super big match, it seemed like they couldn't handle the pressure. And they also just, oh my God, I don't know if it was the coach or who was making the decisions. They swapped their players around so much. We saw Zephyr, who was mainly the off tank to start off. Then Gods and Surefour were DPSs. they swapped around and rotated so much. We saw Gods go to off tank, we saw Zephyr go to Genji, then we saw Zephyr swap with Surefour. Surefour went to Genji, then Zephyr went to Tracer, then he swapped with Gods again. It was a mess, and I think that was a big reason for their downfall. But it wasn't the only reason. I do think KAISER kind of played a part in this team not being the best they could have been. Because yes, KAISER was insane on the Reinhardt. He was super good, and everybody to this day will praise him for his Reinhardt play. But what a lot of people also know is that he isn't that good of a Winston player, guys. He really struggled at adapting on Cloud9. Like, he went from playing Reinhardt only in Apex in Season 2 to straight joining Cloud9, and like, it was just dive. That was the meta. Everybody was playing Winston, and he fell behind. He was not able to play at the same level of North American main tanks like Super or iRemix. And I do feel like that's why he struggled to find a team since then. He just can't perform on that Winston. Hopefully, though, he does get a chance here. I know he was recently on the Optic roster, but he never played for them. I think he was just a sub the entire time, and now they might have dropped him. So, you know, all I can say is good luck to KAISER. I know I've had beef with him in the past. I'm pretty sure he doesn't really care anymore. We're cool now. So good luck to him. I hope he finds a team or just a spot where he's happy with Overwatch, because I think he's definitely, you know, somebody who has made his mark on the game. And if he could just continue to either coach or do whatever he wants, he'll be fine. And now let's go ahead and move on to some other little pieces of news before we get into the maps. Alright, so the next thing to come out comes from Anna's Tall Mask, somebody on Twitter who always translates Korean Overwatch League stuff to English. Mayhem coach R2 posts on Facebook, Mayhem seeking players for Overwatch League Season 2. Contenders players or others who are interested in trying out, please email me your portfolio. Wow, so that's actually really interesting. Mayhem posting publicly on Facebook in Korean that they are looking for Overwatch League trials. And that's interesting for a couple reasons, because you don't just see a lot of Overwatch League teams publicly saying, you know, we're doing trials, feel free to email us. That gives a lot of players opportunities who thought, you know, maybe they didn't have a chance to get into a trial. Well, now just send them an email and maybe you'll get a chance. You honestly never know. Maybe they'll like what they read, they'll give you a shot, and if you pop off in scrims and trials, hell, you'll be on the Florida Mayhem, right? So it's a good opportunity. I really respect that the Florida Mayhem will give that to the community. But then I realized, oh yeah, this is just on Korean Facebook. This is for Koreans only. Is Florida Mayhem possibly looking for a full Korean roster? They already have Saya player who played amazingly. He really popped off. It was hard for him to carry the team, you know, understandably why. They weren't the best players, especially their support line. Then they had Awesome Guy who, you know, to be fair, again, the support line wasn't very good, and as a main tank, you really need supports backing you up. So the fact that his performance wasn't that great, you know, is kind of understandable. So I'd be willing to say, yeah, Awesome Guy, give him another chance, especially if you get a strong Korean backline in there. He could probably do some work. If not, well, then there's other Korean main tanks, right? But this is just speculation, because he did make a reply to this and say, no, we are not looking to pick up a full Korean roster. But, you know, I really wouldn't take his word for it 100%. I do think it's possible that Florida Mayhem could pick up a bunch of Koreans and possibly, you know, fondle with having a full Korean roster. He is a Korean coach. They also have Hagopen on the Florida Mayhem contenders team. He could easily come up and play for them. That would do wonders for the Florida Mayhem. He is such an upgrade over Zupe or Zebosai. No offense to them, but I think it's very clear they were the weakest backline besides maybe Shanghai Dragons in the entire league. And that is definitely not something you brag about, and they could possibly even be worse than the Shanghai Dragons backline. So that's pretty much it. It's exciting to finally hear some news about the teams going into the next season. I can't wait for actual signings. It's gonna be crazy, especially expansion teams. That's really hype. I'm super excited for that stuff. And now let's go ahead and look at the maps, guys. Alright guys, so to start this off, let's go ahead and look at the map records overall in the playoffs so far. London Spitfire, they're sitting at 12 wins, 1 draw, and 4 losses. Philadelphia Fusion, they're sitting at 13 wins, 0 draws, and 7 losses. So overall, a better win rate for the London Spitfire. But some could argue that they have had harder opponents than the London Spitfire. Now, moving on to the very first map, we have Dorado. So for the Philadelphia Fusion, they're sitting at 3-0 on Dorado, 100% win rate. But London Spitfire also sitting at 3-0, another 100% win rate. That's going to be very close. Looking at the average scores, 2.67 for a push, London Spitfire, and then for Philadelphia Fusion, they're sitting at 2.33. So London Spitfire average a further push than Philadelphia Fusion. What about defenses? Exactly the same, 1.67. So London Spitfire might have the advantage here. I could see the team that wins this map really run away with this first set though. Now moving on to the second map, which is right here, we have Oasis and Philadelphia Fusion. They're sitting at 1-1. As for the London Spitfire, 2-0. So overall, a better record there. Could have the advantage here. Moving on to the third map, we have Eichenwald. We have the London Spitfire sitting at 2-0, averaging a push of 3.5 and then a 2.0 defense. Then looking at the Philadelphia Fusion, 3-0. Both of them another 100% win rate each. These teams are really good on these maps so far, and 3.33 for an average attack. A little bit under the London Spitfire there. Defense sitting at 2.0, same as the London Spitfire. So relatively close here. Both teams pretty good at Eichenwald. That's going to be a close one. Moving on to map 4, we have Volskaya and Philadelphia Fusion. They're 1-0 here. They got a first hold against the Boston Uprising, who were 10-0-1 on this map. That's incredible. Moving on to the London Spitfire. Honestly, can't remember them playing this map. Yeah, so they actually haven't played Volskaya yet. That'll be interesting. We have seen them lose once on Hanamura for 2CP. Other than that, we really haven't seen them play 2CP much. So that'll be an interesting one. Then game 5 is going to be on Junkertown. Looking at Junkertown, we have 2-1 for the London Spitfire. Overall, 2.67 attack and 1.67 defense. Moving on over here to the London Spitfire, they're 1-0-2. So this is the only map that they're not really that good at. They're sitting at a 3.0 attack though, which is better than the London Spitfire's attack. And their defense is actually better too. They might have lost twice, but they usually perform better. So this overall, looking at these maps in this first set, it's going to be extremely close, guys. Honestly, I can't even pick a team based off of this. Maybe I'll lean towards London a little bit and say 3-2. But really, guys, I just don't know. And I think that really just sums up these playoffs overall. It's so hard to predict who's going to win. I thought Boston would beat Philly. I was wrong about that. I thought the Gladiators would beat London. I was wrong about that. All the analysts have been wrong. We have the 5th seed going up against the 6th seed, and I seriously cannot wait to watch it in person. Let me know down below what you guys think about the maps or any of the other news stories we've covered in this video. Be sure to like it, subscribe to my channel for more content, and I'm out of here, guys. Peace.